Good afternoon, everybody. This is Philip Seymour. I'm the creator of the Change the Child Support TitleIV-D program on change.org. I want to talk to you all today about um, what this petition is about and why it's important for us to sign this petition to get Congress to change the way the IVD program, child support program is set up. The first thing I want to talk to you about is um, the process of child support. The process of child support is that they must serve your summons. They must have due process. And after due process is established, they have to establish paternity through figuring out have you signed the birth certificate or through DNA tests. They can't go off a testimony of a woman who says, "Oh, he's my baby daddy," and just take that word and say, "Oh, we gonna put him on child support. We gonna default him or whatever." The reason why decided to do this petition is because in 2005 I was placed on child support for children that wasn't mine. What happened was in 2003 I met this young lady and she was pregnant when I met her. She was homeless and I gave her somewhere to stay. My mom owned apartments and I allow her to stay in the apartments because she was homeless. Anyway, in December she had a baby and she gave the child my last name. I wasn't there. I wasn't present at the hospital. And I didn't sign any birth certificates. I didn't give her any legal authority to give this child my last name, nor did I take responsibility of this child. She just was a chick that I met, and I was helping out. So we was together for um, 3 or 4 years. We ended up having a baby on our own that was supposed to be my child. Hey, so what happened was in 2003 and 2004, after she had her first child, uh, she went to try to put me on child support without my knowledge, without me knowing about. She was living with me, and basically she went to the child support office and tried to get child support so she could get Medicaid or food stamps. That didn't work because I guess they didn't serve me or they didn't try to serve me or I don't know what happened, but I never was served on that issue. So she had another child, and because this girl was promiscuous, uh, she would go and stay with her mom and go off and be gone for some days, and she ended up having a child that was claimed to be my child. Um, I wasn't there when she had the child. Um, I didn't sign a birth certificate or anything. So in 2005, she went again to establish a child support case. She said to try to get Medicaid or whatever. So we were living at one address, and my mom lived close by. One second. My mom lived close by, and she gave child support Department of Revenue my mom address, which we didn't live. I didn't live with my mom since I was 17. I wasn't never lived with my mom. I was grown, and I went to Job Corps, and I ended up staying in one of my mom apartments. So she give them my mom address, and while I'm at work, I guess the police came to my mom house to serve me the summons for when she went to go put me on child support, and she ended up collecting the summons. So that was in February of 2005. She did this. In March, she had me arrested, claiming that um, I grabbed her arm, and when I grabbed her, she snatched away and she hit the wall. And she claimed that she was so fearful of her life. So there was during the time when all this thing was crazy about domestic violence. They'll take you to jail, anything. All the person got to say is you hit them. I got the police report. Police said, wasn't no physical damage to her, wasn't no bruises or anything done to her. And during that time, I was put on probation for a year. I had 47 days I had to do in jail, and I had to do a drug program. I had to go into a drug program. This young lady, um, this young lady, I don't know if she went to court, signed my name on the documents, or I don't know if the Department of Revenue just committed fraud on their own. But during the time while I was in the drug program, they had a court date in May. I got locked up in March. I went to court April. I was put in the drug program April 27th. May 16th, they had a court date. I had a no contact order. I was on a year probation. I was in the drug program. They told the judge, the courts, that I was there. Me and her was there, and we left before they called us in the hearing. And they scheduled a rehearing. Now, what I'm telling you all facts of what I've seen during my case. I've been fighting this since 2010. So they lied, and the court found me in default at the next hearing when they rescheduled the hearings. Hearings that I didn't know nothing about. I wasn't a part. I was in a drug program, or I just didn't know about none of this stuff. I found out that I was on probation. I mean, on child support in 2010 while I was in prison. I was at Henry Correction. I tried to go get my driver license, and because I couldn't get them at the age of 16 because I got tickets when I was 15, and I didn't pay tickets in Miami, so my license was already suspended. So I went to file a motion to try to get my driver license ticket squashed because I was in prison. They didn't get my driver license. But they sent me a letter and said the Department of Revenue suspended my license. They suspended my license, and I couldn't get my license for non-payment of child support. So I'm like, child support? Why am I on child support? I never signed a birth certificate. I'm not responsible for no kids or nothing. My oldest daughter was adopted, so there was no reason for me to be on child support. So I find out about the child support. I do, I'm in prison, so I got, ways to try to find that stuff through the law clerk. Find out, I started filing motions. Oh boy, I'm filing motions here, there. I'm trying to get a DNA test. I'm trying to abate child support. I just went crazy. And every motion that I filed either wasn't heard or they denied me. They denied me a DNA test, which by law I'm required to have a DNA test for contested child support. That's the law. Any child support order, that's federal law and state law. Any child support order that's contested before the child turns 18, the DNA has to be done. You got to do a DNA. You got to establish paternity. Okay, I get out of prison in 2011. 2011, I didn't have nowhere to stay. I was basically homeless. I move here. I'm in Fort Myers, Florida now. I move here. I go to try to, find out so I could start filing motions, because when I had a DNA hearing, and they denied me, I told them, I said, look, I was in prison, or either I was at a drug program when you guys established this paternity. So the judge say file a motion to vacate. So when I got rid of file the motion to vacate in 2013, I found out that I wasn't on child support any longer. Okay, so I left it alone. I should have persuaded. I left it alone. 2015, I go to court. 2015, I'm driving trucks. I'm on the road. My wife called me, and my wife said, look, there's a letter here talking about they want to suspend your license for non-payment of child support. And so I was like, how they trying to suspend my license? They said, yep, they trying to suspend your license for non-payment. So I responded, I'm like, look, I never was served. You guys never served me or something. I don't know nothing about the child support case. I disputed the whole thing. So I called Department of Revenue. I said, look, how y'all trying to suspend my license for children that are not mine? Or y'all didn't prove that the children was not mine. Y'all didn't take DNA tests. Y'all didn't serve. So later, like, you need to file a motion. Ann Coffin said, you need to file a disestablishment of paternity. I found out where the girl stayed. I didn't know the rule of the 742.18, but I found out where she stayed. That she stayed in Daytona Beach, Florida. I filed the motion there. Now, the motion clearly says, I didn't know this, that the disestablishment of paternity need to be filed either where I stay at in Fort Myers or the court that has jurisdiction over the child support case. Daytona, Volusia County didn't have jurisdiction over the child support case, nor did I stay there. So I go in front of Judge Foxman. Judge Foxman do this kangaroo court style thing on me, without me even, without evidence of a birth certificate or certificate of live birth. She found that I signed the kid's birth certificate and that I owed, like, back then it was like $50,000 in arrears. So she denied my petition, right? In 2006, this young lady had a baby, had a son. We wasn't together, we wasn't partners, we wasn't nothing. She had a son. When she had this son, she, in the hospital, the Holy Cross Hospital, she gave the child my last name. She forged my name on the certificate of live birth. The driver license number on the certificate of live birth doesn't match mine. The address that's on it, I never lived at it. And the child support agency took that judge ruling that said that I was the father of those kids because I signed the birth certificate and knowing that there wasn't my kids, that I'm responsible for the kids. They took that and they established another child support order and another child to the case that wasn't mine without serving me a summons. Again, they didn't serve me a summons. They took me to court, had kangaroo court. Then I had attorney Stephen Della Roach and I hired Jim Evans. And both of them violated my constitutional rights. Both of them, Jim Evans tried to get me to negotiate on a voided order, tried to get me to negotiate with child support and take a $500 a month child support payment. I said, no, I'm not going to do that because they violated my right to due process and they didn't give me a DNA test. Now I'm on child support paying $1,000 a month for kids that's not mine or haven't been proven that was mine. Neither one of these judges allowed me to take a DNA test. They told me no. I can't get the kids. I don't have time with the kids. I don't know the kids like that. Right? I was told no. Not even my own daughter. I don't have a relationship with her. So now I filed a motion to vacate order and arrears 1.540 for extrinsic fraud and for avoided judgment. The extrinsic fraud is because child support lied to the courts and said that I was served and I was there when it was impossible for me to be there because I was in BARC, a drug program. Second of all, the extended fraud came because the young lady received the summons at an address that neither me nor she lived, which she testified to, and she wrote this in the statement that neither me or her lived at that address. I filed that, in the Department of Revenue right now to this day is fighting for that petition not to be heard in the court properly. It's been a conspiracy with judges, Judge Karen Fossman in Daytona Beach, Florida, and Judge Stacia Warren. Child support come up with all kinds of laws, frivolous arguments to try to get my case, my petition dismissed. One was, it was res judicata because he filed the motion to disestablishment of paternity. You cannot use res judicata as a vehicle to dismiss a motion to vacate for avoided judgment. The second one was the one that he said, it's barred because he didn't file it timely, Rule 1.49. On avoided judgment, there's no time limit. For extended fraud, there's no time limit. For extended fraud, it's 1 year, right? So the extended fraud came, when she lied and said I was the kid's father, and she gave that because it clearly say on the 2005 judgment order that they established paternity by her testimony. That's extended fraud. So anyway, I wasn't trying to get rid of the 2005 order because now you don't have a 2005 order anymore. You have a 2018 order, which I filed the motion to vacate 41 days after that order was issued. The judge bid it. She denied my petition for Rule 1.49. 1.49B, which doesn't apply to 1.540B. Okay, we go to I hire a lawyer. I pay all this money for the lawyers. Don't get me started with the lawyers. I don't pay so much money for lawyers. Like I said, we don't be homeless in a fighting this. Hire a lawyer, we get to court, and they confess error. The appeals court refused to give me more money for my attorneys, right? So the same attorney now, we go back to the court, they remand us back. Now they argument, it's res judicata, Your Honor, right? Go with the res judicata thing, right? I find the law, something that my attorney should have knew, on the 742.1811, even if I filed that motion to disestablish, that doesn't bar me from filing a motion 1.540, right? My attorney should have known this, but I had to find this and show him and say, look, he didn't even know. He wasn't even going to fight. He was trying to wiggle his way out of even being a part of the appeal. So, right now, I made him file a motion for rehearing. We haven't heard a response from the judge. But we need justice. I need justice. And I need y'all to support this petition. It's on change.org. Change Child Support. TitleIV-D program. I'm going to share it. And I need everybody to sign this petition so I could be heard. I've emailed legislator. I've called legislature. I've talked to Miss Kimberly Daniels out of Jacksonville, Florida. She promised to help me. She lied to me. I've talked to so many people, and they say you got to go to family court. That's where I'm getting screwed at, in family court. You got to get an attorney. Attorneys are taking my money, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of money, till I'm homeless. To me and my family is basically homeless. I can't buy a home. I can't get a car because this is on my credit, and it's saying that I owe $70,000. They try to take my income taxes. This is wrong. This is injustice. And it's illegal. The Florida Department of Revenue has the answer to this. I filed the case in federal court. They tried to dismiss it, saying the Rooker-Feldman doctrine. I got that, a motion for rehearing for that, sitting there waiting. They violated my constitutional right, but they want to raise the 11th Amendment saying that they got sovereign immunity from suit after you did this to me without respecting my equal protection of the law, without respecting my due process of life, liberty, and freedom. I can't travel. They suspending my license for every corner. I can't keep a job. I got health problems because of this situation. All because of trying to help somebody who claimed they was pregnant and they didn't have nowhere to stay. And I've been going through this for 15 years. Please help me. Please sign this petition. I'm begging you for help. Thank you. Have a great day.